Well, hi everybody, it's Barbie from Nellie and Ruth Designs, and it's been a while since I created a video. I've been working on a little modification um, of my pocket folder book for ephemera. Let me get into that in a minute. I want to thank everyone for joining in, for watching, commenting. I've gotten a lot of new subscribers. I really appreciate it. And I want to be very, I don't want to say picky, but I want to be very thoughtful in the videos that I do. And I just don't want to put a lot of videos out there that, may or may not interest you. So I'm trying to be a little more selective. I guess selective is the word. So thank you, everyone. I've been, like I said, having a really good time. But I did have a request. I had to bring up a cup of coffee with me. It's just a rainy, cold day where I'm at, and it's been pouring and dreary. But it's been a good day. Like I said, I had a request from Tanya at Tatty Treasures. And Tanya is over in the UK, and she has thousands of subscribers. But if you don't subscribe yet, go to her channel and subscribe. She does wonderful, wonderful projects there. And she's always using beautiful papers, and she's just a doll. So go ahead and subscribe to her channel. But she had seen my pocket folder book, and I don't believe she has a Cinch machine. If you go back, my last 3-part series was making this pocket folder book using the Cinch machine. And the Cinch machine has coils. So let me grab this one. This was the book that was featured in that series, this one here. And again, you have to punch, and you have your coils here. So she had asked me if there was another way that I thought of to bind this book. So it had dawned on me a while back. I'm not a lover of the Cinch machine. I like it when there's a spiral coil, but when I have to actually use the binding coils that you have to press, I don't always get them perfectly round. So a lot of my books that I have, the coils aren't perfect. So I even thought of, I need to find another way to bind these books. So this morning I decided to sit down, and I have a little bit, but I've got a lot going on here. And I want to start a series to show you a different way to bind these. So this morning, like I said, I sat down, and I'm going to show you. This is the cover that I made. These are a few of the sheets. I want to show you what I came up with. I did come up with a way to bind these without using any hole punching machine or whatever. So, and I really do like these. I do use this style in my junk journal. I know there's other girls that use this style, and I wanted to share that with you today because I think it's just wonderful. And you don't have to, when you create your books, you don't have to do any sewing to hold your signatures or anything in. So this is what I came up with this morning. It took me a little bit. I have a whole sheet of written out instructions just for myself. And I will tell you the measurements that I used, but it's going to depend on how many pages you want inside your ephemera holder. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the papers that I'm using today. I'm just going to set everything else over here. So the papers that I'm using today come from K & Company, and it's K Sera. And these are double-sided papers. Now, you do not have to use double-sided papers when making these pocket folder books. If you don't, your upper page, the only difference is this will be white and your pattern will be down here, or your pattern could be up here and this would be all white down here. I just prefer to have these very colorful and festive, like these. These were all double-sided papers that I used in this one here. And again, please go back. I invite you to go back and look at my other series on creating this using the Cinch machine. So I'm using the Que Sera, and I'm using another paper pack, which I will show you once I get into the actual cover. So these I'm going to do another 5-page book. So I've done 3, but they're not, I will go over this with you for anyone out there that hasn't seen the other videos, because it is important that you know how to make a page out of a single 12 by 12 piece of paper. So let me get my glasses. All right. And I'm going to try not to do a lot of chit chat today because I really want to just concentrate on the book for you here. So the first thing you have to do is decide what you want to be your upper page and what you want your pocket for your ephemera to tuck into. All right, so you have a couple different options. So using the double-sided paper, okay, so you're just going to say, do I want my backdrop here to be the striped? This would be the stripe, and then this would be the pocket, or do I want this to be the back and the stripe to be the pocket? Not a big decision, but sometimes it is. And I think because we have the floral and the octopus here, I think I'm going to use this as my backdrop. So when you're going to want to write this down, but when you score your paper to make these pockets, you're going to score 6 inches right down the center. And I don't press too hard because I don't want the paper to rip and tear, but you want to stretch these fibers, so I usually do it 3 times. So you go right down the middle, you go down 6 inches, your 12, and then you turn your paper. So your 6-inch line is horizontal. Then you're going to score at 4 inches. Okay. Then after you score at 4 inches, you have to, let me open this up. You have to fold your bottom corners up and in, all right? And then you fold it up and then you fold it back. So in order to get those corners folded in, you're going to mark, and I have this marked right here at 2 1/4, and I put my black marks on my board so I can see on my straight through my paper. I hope you can see. I'm just going to check. Let me do it straight here so you can see. So I just take, after you score at 4, I just take and I put a little mark at the 2 1/4. All right. Then what you do, I have another line over here. You have to find, you're going to have your 6-inch center here. You have to then do your last scoring. You're going to, and this is why I have this line here, so I can line my 2 1/4 inch mark and my 6-inch. And if you have to, you can put a little dot there just so you can see it. And my 6-inch mark up on the same line. So I have it blackened here and blackened here. So this mark and this mark meet. And you're just going to score again. Right here. Then you're going to turn it. You're going to keep that dot right there, and you're going to line up your your 2 1/4 inch here. And if it doesn't make, like I said in the other video, if this doesn't make a perfect point here, don't worry about it. It's really no big deal. I'm having coffee. I usually don't have coffee this late in the day. It's 4:06 here, and but I have got a little headache going on. So I thought the coffee would help. I didn't want to take any Advil, or not Advil, but Tylenol. Okay, so in my last video, I didn't, you can adhere these down. I didn't do that, but in this one here, I'm going to. You can use double-sided tape. I just want to adhere these down. And I do love making these books. I'm so glad, Tanya, if you're watching, I'm so glad that you said something, because I've been thinking about this for a long time and I've just put it off. I procrastinated. And I just decided that this morning was the morning to figure this out. And all right, so once you have that adhered, then you're just going to turn it up at your 4-inch mark. And then you're going to turn it back, okay? And you don't have to press, because you don't want to make a hole. This is a little bit heavier cardstock. You don't want to make a hole there and have it rip and tear. Now this page here is pretty much the same colors. So when you get to this point, you can just kind of see what flavor you might like. And this might be kind of fun. I guess it doesn't really matter. This might be better for a backdrop because it has more white on it. So we can use this as the backdrop. And we will curl up here. So again, you're going to score at 6 inches. You'll rotate. So you're 6 inches horizontal. Then you're going to score at 4. And we're going to make our marks at 2 1/4. This is the easy part to demonstrate and explain. It's the next step that I hope I explain it to you. I hope it's not too much of a crapshoot with my verbiage, but okay, so this here, let's go right down here. We're at the 4-inch mark. You're going to kind of feel where that crease is. Just play with it. Take your time. Bring it up and fold it back. And when you have thicker cardstock, you just want to just gently get it folded down there. Don't be too rough with it. Don't manhandle it. All right, so what I'm going to do next, I'll set this aside. And I waited to do this, all of these with you, so you get the idea. in my last video, I didn't need to take all of these steps because I was using the Cinch Machine. But this one, I'm going to do all of these with you. So I did show, again, in my previous video, I did show you my Scotch Advanced Tape Glider, which is really helpful with my scrapbooking with these projects. And I believe I told you at the time, when you buy these packs, sometimes they do not roll properly. They're backwards. And this is one of them. And I'm kind of glad this happened, because I told you, do not throw it away, or don't, set it aside and say, well, that's no good. I use this now just as if I would use this Suk Wang double-sided tape. All right. Basically, it's just a mini roll of this. So, and this is when projects like these come in handy to use this, because you need your long tape runs. So you have to tape this shut, because you have to remember, I'm going to get my punch. You need to tape the bottom, and you're going to need to tape the sides. And I will get them all taped, but I'm not going to peel the tape, just so you know where things have to be taped. We'll set these aside. So the first place you should tape is on the bottom, because that's going to have to be sealed shut. So when you put your ephemera down inside, it doesn't fall out. All right, and then you have to tape each side, because that will be go into the binding. And I figured this will be a nice little, I don't know if it'll be a 2-part, a 3-part. And again, we're going to want to, and I think here I think I might just glue these down instead of using tape. So let's just get the insides done. And I guess for the bottom, it doesn't really matter which side you tape. Put your tape on. Sometimes I like to get all the little things done if it gives you the opportunity to do them, because then nothing is forgotten. And like I said, I haven't made any videos recently because I don't want to just keep putting videos out there that, maybe you're not interested in. They're just repetitive of other gals' videos. I really want them to be purposeful and meaningful. So, but I constantly think about, my followers. I don't want to let them down either by not putting any videos out there. I do think of you guys, but I also know that with spring here, there's more people out in their yards, and they're trying to get out more. I know I am. I've been hiking a lot. I hiked 4 mountains last week. One day I hiked 2 mountains in one day. I did a morning hike with my daughter-in-law. We were gone all morning till about 1, and then we came home. And we rested up and did what we had to do here. And then we went on a sunset hike with a group of girls. We didn't get home till about 8:15 that night, but okay, so I have these taped down. So we're going to set these aside because we don't need these just yet. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is how to make this. I'm going to call it an accordion binder. I do not know if there is a proper name for it. I'm sure that there is, but leave it to me to not know the terminology or what others are calling it. So as far as Barbie at Nellie and Ruth Design is called, if I refer to an accordion binder, you'll know what I'm talking about. So this, I'm going to show you there's one way to do it, but you have a couple options. So this is where it's either going to be a success or I'm going to totally screw up in front of everybody and have to start again. So what I did was I took a simple file folder and I cut it to 8 inches because these are, these come out to be 8 inches tall by 6 inches wide. So there's your 8, actually a little less. They're about 8 well, this one is by 6. By the time you fold it, I think you do lose a little tiny bit because of the scoring and the folding. So I cut this to 8 inches because the one thing that I had to think about, and I may trim it a little bit again, but I may not have to, we'll see, is I wanted my paper to fit the whole pocket folder, okay? Because I wanted it to be, sturdy. I didn't want this overhanging at all. This might, bend. So, and this is where I had to play with this morning. So I started at the center mark, and I figured out that if you're going to have 5 pocket folders, I counted them up, I needed 25 score lines. And this is where it's going to depend on your book. If you could make one of these books where you have 8 pages. Maybe you only want 3 pages. So it's going to depend. I can't tell you, okay, so if you have 3 pages, it would be 5. I think you have 15. Yeah, you would need 15 scores. If you have 2 pages, you would need 10. And I'm telling you that because the interior here, you can see here where it's attached, these are a little bit taller. And I'll show you, you can make them shorter, but I like them taller just so it's adhered on there a little bit better. And then this is the other thing that is going to throw you. If you had, now this is a Martha Stewart score buddy or score pad, score pal, whatever you want to call it. I'm basing it on the Martha Stewart one. I have other score boards, but they do not have all the small little lines. Okay, this is why I did not use the score pail. I prefer the Martha Stewart because you can really do some different things with this one than you can the score pail. So I'm putting my center line, and this is again for a 5-page pocket folder. I'm putting the center at, it can be at a 5, so any inch mark, okay? Then you're going to count. You're going to count 1, 2, and you're going to count this line here as your first one, the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. and you're going to score. Okay. And then you're just going to keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to keep doing this until you have 25. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could have done this off camera, but so right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it doesn't have to be even on each side, okay? So now I'm going to flip this. And I'll go back to the 5. And I am going to use these two here that came with the folder. And I'm just going to bend these a little bit. I'm going to use their crease marks as B. And then what I will do is I will start from, not the center now, I will start from this mark here. And I will go with 4, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to flip it again. Go back, I'll use the center one. Now remember, if you flip it, you have to start with the center one back at a numerical. So these line up over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so let's see how many we have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And again, I'm taking this third one and lining it up, and then all the rest line up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this should be 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have our 25. Let's just hope and pray that this does work out properly. So again, I start in the center, and this is where it gets a little tricky. Now, I'm actually going to start at the end because I want to make sure that it all is properly folded. So when I decided to make these a little bit, you could bigger, you're going to fold it a little bit different. You could actually, if you wanted to, you could make your hinges just with 3 scores, but that doesn't give you, I'm going to show you, it doesn't give you a lot for these to grip onto. And if you're going to weigh them down, see that? If you're going to weigh them down and put what you want to in them, that's why I suggest you use the 5. So every third one here will be your peak. I'll call it a peak here. So you actually, so see here, here's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scores, okay? So you've got a larger peak. And then when you get one done, you can tape it there at that time if you want to. And you don't need to use, I would not tape it in the center. You're going to want to tape on the outside one. If you want to make it a little bit stronger, you can use 2 pieces of tape. I don't think it's necessary to do that. And then you're just going to tape that together. And there's your first, I'll call it a hinge. There's your first hinge for your first page. And then you're going to leave a space here. All right, so you're going to fold. Your next one is going to be here. All right, so then you have your center here. Once you get the hang of it, it's quite easy. Hold on here. All right, so we have to fold this because this one we are not using. That's flat, and then so we have to come up here. And that's why these file folders are nice. They're a little bit easier to work with. Okay, now you have your space in between here, your flat space. So there's going to be your second hinge. And I really hope I'm explaining this properly. And we're going to do this on the outside. Sometimes I don't explain myself. Just ask my kids. Mom, you aren't making any sense at all. I'm like, yeah. Don't you get it? Don't you get it? And then you're just going to fold that. So there's for page number 2. And you've got that very plain, this is where you get your plain line down through here. All right, so let's keep going. So you're going to want to leave this here. So we are going to fold this one here up. And then we're going to bend this one, fold it. There you go. All right. So remember, you've got one here in between, and then you're going to come over to 2, crease that, and bring that up. All right. So Tanya, I hope you're getting this, girl, and you're not having any troubles when I'm explaining it, so you understand it. You're smart. You're a smart cookie, though. You got this. Okay, so there's for our third page. All right, see that? All right, so you've got your 1 here again. You're going to come over, so you can crease this here, because that's going to be your plain. And then you're going to come over here to this third one from that crease. And I crease it up here. And there's for page number 4. And if you do these and you have an extra page, well, just grab another 12 by 12 paper and make another pocket. But I think after today, or I mean after I get this done with you, and I get the pages in, I'm going to stop there. Okay, we have one, and then we're going to come over to this one, and you're going to crease this here. But I want to crease this first because that's our, and then I'm going to let you get all of your stuff done here. This one. And then we'll carry on. Okay, that gets folded up. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your 5th one. And we'll get that tape down. So I guess the rule of thumb is if you have 2 pages, you make 10 score lines. If you have 3, you make 15, 4, 20, 5, 25, 6, 30. Okay. All right. I can't believe that went as easy as it did, because sometimes things just don't go that easy for me. Especially when I'm doing something in front of everyone. Okay. We aren't going to trim these down yet. So now we need to put the pages in. And if you plan on doing really fancy embellishing, or, you know, you want to put brads on here or whatever, make sure that you embellish your pockets ahead of time, because once you fold and glue and all that, it's kind of hard. It would be kind of hard to get a brad through here, and then you're trying to, you know, adhere it in the back. Any of this type of embellishing can be done afterwards, after you get it in the book. So we're going to get these in. The next thing you want to do is make sure you have them in whatever order you'd like them to be. If you want to color coordinate, if you don't want, you know, the oranges together, we've got a couple blues. We could separate the blues. Do I want these 2 reds together? Maybe not. I could try this. Trying to keep a lot of the reds apart. So I think this is fine. Like this. I think that's actually a little bit better. So we will put them in like this, and we'll start in the back. And before we do that, don't forget we want to punch our little slots up on top. And this side I'm not going to punch because I like that butterfly. I think I'll punch the back side of it. And you're just going to want to come down. This punch here is a 2.5 inch. This is a Martha Stewart, 2.5 inch. And I already have it marked with these little, I don't know if you can see here, but just the way these are crowning in here is the half mark. And I just marked them myself. And then this is the center. And I just kind of eyeball it. Make sure they're straight. All right. So this here, this is why you have to, this is how I do the glue or the tape. So we have one on the bottom, and you have to have one on each side. Okay. So this is your sides. So I take all these off. And I start here. I'll start in the back. I just kind of line it up. Okay. There, so the bottom is taped, your sides are taped, and now you've got a nice hinge, and you're going to want to adhere these down. And the other ones I did glue, and I think I'm going to use my glue again instead of tape. And I just take my glue here and I give a good dosing of glue. And I just make sure that's down really well. And your art glitter glue, as you know, that dries pretty quickly. So I just decided I didn't want to tape. You can tape these, the little sides here. I just decided on this one I didn't want to. But if you feel more comfortable taping them, by all means, go ahead and tape them. Okay, so that's number one, and I'm just going to set that there just to put a little weight on it while I... Okay, so this one here I will trim on the front. And remember, don't throw these away because you can use these for other items. And when you're taping, do not tape these down until, or glue them in until you get them in there, because it could cause a ripple or a bulge. And you don't want to do that. I explained that in the other series. But isn't this a fun binding? I'm so glad that, I'm going to say I was shamed into doing it. I don't want to say that, but it's something that I really procrastinated on, and I knew I could figure something out for this. I was just being a bit lazy. And I don't really care if this shows just a little tiny bit on top. That's not important to me, because once you get your ephemera in there and all your goodies, you're not even going to notice that. And for me, it just shows that it's nice and sturdy. The top isn't going to tear or anything. So don't worry about that. And I know, Linda, if you're watching, you already made the book, one of these books, after watching my video. And I'm sure you're going to try this. I'll make sure I tag you in my through a Instagram post, letting you know that this is up, and because I'm sure you'll want to try this binding. Linda's another gal on Instagram that you should follow. I will put Linda's information as well in my, she's always kind enough, if you know, she'll mention me in my work on her page, and I really appreciate it. I just find the Instagram. All right, Barbie, what went on here? How come that didn't stick? All right, hold on here. Why isn't that sticking? I'm going to add another strip. I just find the Instagram community very, very kind, and everybody's there to really encourage everyone else. Which is lovely. Okay. This is going along quite nicely, if I do say so myself. So I also wanted to mention, I think most of you know I have an Etsy shop, and that's not going real well right now. So what I did was, I also had an eBay shop for many, many, many years, and that was a huge success. So what I've done is I've switched a lot of my items over to my eBay store. And it's Nellie and Ruth Designs. You know, same name. I just think I have a bigger audience there. And I'll see how I do. So, you know, you can check between both shops. I know eBay takes a bigger commission than Etsy does, but I would really like, you know, people to you know, be able to get some of my work. It's not always a glamorous job to sell paper products because there's so many wonderful, wonderful artists out there that to choose from. So, you know, if I do sell something, I don't sell a lot. I don't know. I just don't know if people really like my style. So it's always, I'm very humbled when someone does buy something from me. I don't ever take it for granted that I will sell my items, but I've learned over the years to make things that I really like, because if they don't sell, guess who they go to? They go to me. And I use them in things that I'm working on or making. Oh, the troubles we have. But I do it because I like it. I like the colors. I love paper. And again, if I can, you know, make one person smile, or if I can teach them one thing, or, you know, help them. I mean, a lot of people can't afford to, you know, buy items in someone's paper shop. And if they have the means to make it themselves, oh my gosh, I want them to have it. Or I want them, you know, to make it, to be able to make it. You can't be selfish and stingy in this world. There's too much of that right now. It's not a me world. Although it's, when I, you know, we talk about media, it is me, me, me. But I'm not going there. Otherwise, I'll be canceled. Or cut off. Shut down. Shut down. Shut her down. All right. So there you have it. So there is our accordion binding. And I don't know what time I started, but I think I did it before the hour or 50 minutes, which may be wonderful. Didn't take up too much of your time. And ta-da, look at that. So we are ready to go on to the next phase. I will set these aside and I will come back. We can maybe embellish these before they go in the book, but let me show you the next step that we're going to do. Next time around, we are going to, I will have this, I will show you how to put this in the book. So if you want to go ahead and you want to make a cover, this is my cover, and it's a cloth cover. And what you want to do for your pocket folder cover is you want to, this is just cardstock, okay? It's just a 12 by 12 cardstock. It's a very lightweight. This is going to be bendable. It's not going to be like my other book where it's very hard and rigid. This one here is very hard cardboard. All right. I thought I would try and do a more soft cover style. So this is 2 pieces. I took a 12 by 12 and I cut 2 pieces 8 by 6 inches wide. All right. And then, so these are the 8 by 6. And then there's one, you can see it here where it's creased. And then there's one piece here. All right. You cut one center that it's either, you got 2 different measurements. It can either be 1 10/16, which not too many people say, okay, I need to cut something 1 10/16. Or it can be just shy. Oh, sorry. Let me get a lozenger. I don't normally talk this much, so my throat gets dry. You can cut one piece just shy of 1 5/8, okay? I know it's an odd number, but you're going to kind of have to figure it out. And again, this is for a 5 folder book. So if you make it narrower, you make a 3 page book, this is going to be totally different, okay? And then what I did was I used a piece of Tyvek, and I like to use the Tyvek. So this is the 12 by 12 piece that I use, and you can see it's pretty lightweight, and I use that for this. And then your Tyvek, I just go get an old Priority mailing envelope, and I cut these up. I figure anything I can get free from the government and use, I'm going to do it. And the other reason I like to use the Tyvek, because you will see here, there is a little space. You have to have a little space so it folds. I like to use the Tyvek because it's not going to rip and tear. It's not going to wear out. So the next time I see you, I will have already put this one in my prototype with my cover, and we will do a new one, okay, for the new book. So I guess I could show you now how we will be putting it in, but I'd rather show you in the next video. And then if you want to, because you could get your cover ready, and then in the next one we will also adhere this, and then we're also going to put our pages in, okay, our front and back covers. So this is what this book will look like, and then I will do another one for the other book. So when I see you again, this will all be glued in, and then we will do the same for this one here. I'll show you how to do that. Yeah, so you could go ahead and, again, get your cover ready. So you would need, for the book that we're working on, you would need 2 8 by 6, 8 tall, 6 wide. 2 of those, and then your center spine, okay? The size for your center spine. And you can double check that when you work on this. Just make sure it's just wide enough, okay? And you'll want to like fold it up, make sure it folds properly. So you could get your cover ready, you could get your end pieces ready, okay? If I wanted to stitch mine, so I got that all done ahead of time. You can do yours ahead of time. And then we will bind it. And then after we bind it, we can do some embellishing on it. So yeah, so I hope you liked today's video. I think these books are just fun and fabulous. And we will finish up next time and continue the series, and hopefully we'll be able to get the book finished. All right, everybody, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in my next video. All righty, bye-bye.